If the younger me were to look at the world today and just like, if I woke up, is that what you mean? I'd think I was on a different planet.
Welcome back to No Ordinary Life, where ordinary people like Gavin,
Okay.
Julie, Anne, Andy,
Push that back.
April,
Okay.
Susanna,
It's really funny.
Spencer, Sarah, and B
I'm just painting pictures.
talk about their extraordinary lives.
What do I think about how the world is today from when I was younger?
I don't really understand the question.
What?
Wow. What would be the biggest surprise about the world today?
I mean, how old is younger?
What would surprise me the most?
What do I think the young me would think about the world today?
There's a hell of a change in everything.
For me, as a young kid in Macclesfield,
You know, I mean, from the war years,
Okay. If I was like 13 years of age, right?
when everything was rationed.
And I just woke up and I was here.
Comment below.
You appreciated everything you got and were given. To now where, I mean, the youngsters are so spoilt. Everything is designer labels they want and get.
Was like, think back about myself being in Thailand.
What would be the biggest surprise?
Possibly the fact that we're still here, that the world is still going.
This is Star Trek, mate.
The world has changed unimaginably
I think he would think it's a better world.
since I was a child. I was born in the 70s.
For all its problems, it's a better world.
And the world was a much smaller place, I think.
What I would be wow at?
I suppose I'd be quite surprised at myself, for starters, that I didn't get married when I was 20 and have 2 kids that were, 20 years old now.
Biggest surprise, perhaps, that things bizarrely have not changed as much as you might have thought.
I won't say the world was a better place. I think the world has always had its traumas.
Again, when I was young, I would read books that would said by the year 2000 we'd all be living on the moon.
Going back to all those years ago, we were told about all the end of the world is nigh and all doom and gloom.
Events that could be world-ending.
Heaven knows what else. And there would have been a third major world war.
And that will never change. There'll always be the next catastrophe worldwide to look at, whether that's as a country, a nation, a community, or...
If I was a little girl...
Everything is bigger and so-called better, but it's not.
What wowed me the most?
Biggest surprise, and in some ways the biggest disappointment.
In the old days, you could go to the theatre and sit in the gods for a couple of bob,
Is that things, for all the change we've gone through,
theatre prices are just so dear. Well, everything is so dear now. The cost of living has gone up.
they're not as great and as profound as we might have imagined they were going to be.
But here we are, sort of 50 years later, and we're still virtually intact.
Stay tuned.
Do you know what? Yeah, I'll make it really easy for you.
The way of life has changed altogether too.
I think most surprising to me would be...
Really easy. I remember sitting in Brockwell Park on top of the hill.
I don't know how to answer that one.
When I was younger and married with kids,
And looking towards the river.
you can't do that now.
What you were saying?
The conversation continues.
Thinking about my younger self and the changes that's happened since then.
But about the world itself,
I'm very fortunate that I've been able to live during this revolution, this technological revolution.
She'll probably laugh and say it's not even possible.
There's cars that drive themselves.
obviously technology.
What? Yeah, it drives itself.
Back then, there wasn't even no such thing as a mobile phone.
You what?
When I was growing up.
You'd be very shocked at how easily people can talk to each other in different countries and see faces on the screen. And
Yeah, we can print burgers. You what?
What we're able to do technologically
would be one of the main things.
Would be incredibly exciting as well.
Burgeoning onto something like amazing.
People live longer, people are generally healthier.
I think possibly that's the biggest thing that surprises me.
I'm talking about this part of the world, obviously.
Lots of other things, fabulous things have happened over the years.
You don't know what's around the corner.
What's your story?
Let me say to you like this. I can remember.
My biggest surprise about society today.
I'll make it really easy for you. Really easy.
How much it's changed.
The way of life has changed altogether too.
How much access we have to things we couldn't even have imagined.
I remember sitting in Brockwood Park on top of the hill and looking towards the river.
Mobile phones, for instance.
When I was younger and married with kids.
And all you could see was St. Paul's, the post office tower and the Shell building.
You walked everywhere, you dragged your kids with you and that.
Those were the only skyscrapers. That's how much it's changed.
We've always, in history...
You enjoyed the fresh air.
Actually, we haven't changed at all.
had really quite bad times, haven't we?
Your kids played out quite safely, as we did when we were young.
When you're young, you're kind of...
You can't do that now.
Sheltered by your parents, so you don't see all the bad stuff.
Parents don't let the children out really very much now to play.
What would be most surprising?
We've had wars and we've had plagues and heaven knows what else.
I think...
Really now, we seem to have the capability to get through things. For instance, COVID. Nobody would have ever expected us to get through that.
I think most surprising to me would be...
I think I would have been very surprised to think that was going to happen when I was younger.
My place in that world.
Catch up on the latest episode and subscribe.
I take the optimistic view that now is always the best time to be alive.
I think the crazy thing is...
because humanity does progress for all of its problems. I think it's a better world.
The world's actually got a little bit better for some strange reason.
What wowed me the most? Probably the weather. Probably the snow.
Next time.
What does politics mean to me?
The politics of today is a bit of a cakewalk.
Will my vote ever count?
Compared to the politics of the 1930s and what that led to.
Just try to avoid it.
Forget it, mate.
Politics.
Politics can make the world and break the world. It can make a country, break a country.
No ordinary life. Thank you for watching.
What does family mean to me? Family is everything. Everything. My family are my world. And they will always be my world.
Subscribe to keep the conversation going. And don't forget to ring the bell.